Fire Scorpio 888. You hold the key. The karmic shockwave begins. Crystal Ball Part 1. The door cracks open. Will you step through or stay stuck in the loop? Something is coming, Scorpio. A karmic wave, long overdue, is about to crash into your life. But here's the twist. It's not here to punish you. It's here to free you. If you're brave enough to hold the key, are you ready to face what's been repeating for years? Welcome, soul travelers, to the path to Buddhist wisdom. Today, we begin a journey into one of the most powerful Scorpio messages we've ever received. One that connects the cosmic symbolism of 888, the fire of karma catching up, and the terrifying freedom of finally breaking a spiritual cycle. This isn't a feel-good horoscope. This is your spiritual confrontation with truth. And yes, it might shake you. But by the end of this, you won't just survive it. You'll walk out the other side more powerful, more aware, and more free than ever. Unlock the locked door that's been waiting for you. There's a reason you keep encountering the same kind of betrayal. The same type of lover who promises change but never delivers. The same mental loop that leaves you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering, why does this always happen to me? It's not bad luck. It's not punishment. It's a sacred karmic loop. And you, Scorpio, were born not only to experience it, but to end it. Let's be clear. You didn't cause all this chaos. But the universe is choosing you to bring closure, to be the final key holder. And the reason is simple. Scorpio was designed to survive death, ego death, emotional death, karmic death, and rise. Scorpio, the bone collector and the truth holder. Scorpios aren't like other signs. While others fear secrets, you carry them. While others run from pain, you study it. And while others are destroyed by endings, you transform through them. In this coming week, you may be asked or forced to be the truth teller. You might witness someone else's karma catch up, and you'll have a choice. Speak up or stay silent. Forgive or hold the wound. Let go or continue the loop. But make no mistake, this moment isn't accidental. Old key, a real story, when the key is too heavy to hold. Let me tell you a story. It's about Ava, a Scorpio woman in her 30s. For years, she dated men who emotionally abandoned her. Same pattern, different face. Same pain, different promises. One day, she found out her current boyfriend was cheating on her with her best friend. Devastated, she confronted them both. The betrayal should have broken her. But instead, she said something that changed everything. I see now. This isn't about you. This is about me finally choosing not to repeat this story again. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She just walked away. She called it the moment I became my own savior. Weeks later, she launched her own wellness coaching business. A year later, she was engaged, not to a savior, but to someone who met her power. That's the energy of 888. The karma comes, but you decide if you'll repeat it or rewrite it. Input numbers. What does 888 mean for Scorpio this week? 888 is more than just an angel number on Instagram memes. In numerology, it represents completion of karmic cycles, alignment of purpose, infinite flow of energy and consequence. But here's the key twist for Scorpio. This 888 is personal. It marks the end of your old reaction patterns, the opening of a door to self-forgiveness, the arrival of karmic justice. But it needs you to cooperate. Cross towards the price of holding the key. Freedom always sounds beautiful, until you realize it comes with responsibility. You can no longer pretend you don't see the truth. You can't unhear your intuition. You can't unknow the role you play in your own suffering. And that's what scares most people. Because holding the key means unlocking the door and letting go of the identity built around pain. But if anyone is strong enough to do that, it's you. You. The sign ruled by Pluto, planet of transformation. You, the sign that was born from intensity, fire, and rebirth. Woman in lotus position from astral to actual. What you need to do this week. Here's your spiritual action list. Reflect. What patterns are begging to end? Forgive, not for them, for your own soul's lightness. Speak. If truth must be told, let your voice be the sword that frees, not wounds. Visualize. Shield your energy daily. You're radiating light, and light attracts moths. Choose the old story or the new chapter, not both. Write this down in your journal. I hold the key. I end the loop. I am free. Puzzle piece ending fan 1. Dan Vio fan 2. In Part 2, we dive deeper into the shadow and how your unprocessed emotions could be keeping the karmic door half closed. You'll learn why forgiveness is not weakness, it's the weapon, what emotional shadows Scorpio hides behind strength, and the spiritual practice that can unbind even your oldest karmic ties. Don't miss it, because if Part 1 gave you the key, Part 2 teaches you how to turn it. Dagger Part 2, the weapon of forgiveness, Scorpio's path to release. New moon forgiveness isn't weakness, it's war with your own shadow. Most people misunderstand forgiveness. They think it means excusing the behavior. They think it's about letting others off the hook. But Scorpio, you know better. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is spiritual warfare. It's your battle with the part of yourself that wants revenge, or worse, silence. Because silence isn't always peace. Sometimes silence is poison. Balance scale the 2 types of forgiveness Scorpio must master. There are 2 forms of forgiveness Scorpio is being called to confront during this karmic window. 1. Forgiveness of others. The ones who lied. The ones who abandoned you. The ones who used your loyalty against you. Forgiving them doesn't mean trusting them again. It means choosing not to carry their actions in your bloodstream. Let me repeat that. Forgiveness is not re-entry. It is release. Forgiveness is you saying, I remember what happened, but it no longer controls me. 2. Forgiveness of yourself. This is the hard one, because Scorpio's shadow runs deep. You don't just remember mistakes, you relive them. You carry your past like sacred bones, trying to figure out where you went wrong. But sometimes you didn't go wrong. You just went through what you needed to become who you are now. Self-forgiveness is accepting that your past self was surviving the best way they knew how. Candle a story of release, when an apology never came. Let me share with you a real story from a Scorpio man I once met named Elijah. He had been estranged from his father for over 17 years. No contact, no closure, just silence. His father had left the family when Elijah was 12. No goodbye, just disappearance. For years, Elijah carried the wound like armor. He became successful, charismatic, fierce, but under it all was a boy who needed a why. When his father passed away unexpectedly, without any final message, Elijah broke. But something unexpected happened. Instead of collapsing, he wrote a letter, not to his dad, but from his dad to himself. In that letter, he imagined the apology he never got. And in doing so, he forgave, not his father, but his own inner child for believing he was unworthy of love. That's the power of forgiveness. Sometimes, you have to write the closure that no one else will give you. Infinity forgiveness clears karma like fire clears a forest. Spiritually, forgiveness is not an act of morality. It's an act of energetic clearing. Think of it like a forest fire. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it destroys. But in the ashes, new roots take hold. That's what June 1st to 7th is bringing you, Scorpio. The fire of karmic clearing. The ash of old cycles. And if you forgive, you become the fertile ground for something real. Man in Lotus Position's spiritual practice, the release ritual. Try this tonight. Sit alone in silence. Light a candle. Close your eyes. Imagine the person or version of yourself who hurt you. Say, I release you. I do not need an apology. I reclaim my energy. I forgive because I choose peace. Blow out the candle. Do this for 7 nights. By the end, you'll notice your energy feels lighter, your sleep deeper, and your heart stronger. Puzzle piece closing this loop and opening the door to love. Scorpio, here's the truth. If you don't forgive, your next relationship becomes a mirror of your last. If you don't forgive, your success will come with burnout. If you don't forgive, your health will carry the weight of the wound. But if you do forgive, dizzy you become limitless. Dizzy you become magnetic. Dizzy you become ready. Forgiveness is the final piece of the karmic puzzle. And when you lay it down, the rest of your story can finally unfold. Backhand index pointing right next. Part 3. The return of the loop. What you didn't close will return louder. In the next section, we'll explore the hidden mental patterns keeping you stuck. The 9 of Swords energy, sleepless nights, mind games, emotional spirals, and how to finally close the loop for good with both magic and mindfulness. Cyclone Part 3. The return of the loop. What you didn't close will return louder. Waning crescent moon, the loop never ends until you decide it does. Have you ever had this thought, Scorpio? Why does this keep happening to me? Same situation, different people. Same feeling, different job. Same betrayal, different disguise. That's not the world punishing you. That's your soul asking you to finish what you didn't close the first time. Karmic loops aren't broken by time. They're broken by truth, awareness, and action. Brain the Nine of Swords, when your mind becomes a prison. In the tarot, the Nine of Swords is one of the most haunting cards. A figure sits awake at night, head in hands, tormented by thoughts. Swords hang behind them, like ghosts of old pain. This is the mental loop, where your mind plays the same tape over and over. I should have known better. Maybe it was my fault. What if it happens again? Scorpio, your greatest strength is your memory, but your deepest wound is also your memory. You don't just remember pain. You carry it like evidence in a court case that no one is attending anymore. But you're still arguing, still reliving, still stuck. Hourglass not done, the reason it's back now. Because you're strong enough to end it. The loop is here not to punish you, but because now, finally, you're strong enough to break it. This week's energy is not just asking for healing. It's demanding resolution. That person who reappeared, that job that's giving deja vu, that situation that feels too familiar, it's your karmic mirror. And the question is, will you respond the same way or differently this time? Repeat button. Real story, when the loop returned louder. Meet Jonah, a Scorpio sun with a Capricorn moon. Tough, focused, ambitious, but underneath, terrified of emotional abandonment. He had ended a toxic relationship 2 years ago. He thought he had healed, until he met someone new. Beautiful, charismatic, exciting, but 3 weeks in, she began pulling away. Same pattern, same emotional spiral. But this time, Jonah paused. Instead of chasing, he reflected. Instead of fixing, he asked, "Why am I so afraid to be alone?" That question cracked the loop. He didn't lose her, he found himself. And from that moment forward, he only dated people who nurtured peace, not chaos. You don't end the loop by changing the people, he told me later. You end it by changing the version of you that chooses them. Woman in lotus position, 3 signs you're stuck in a loop and don't know it. Deja vu drama. You say, why does this always happen to me? Mental replays. You can't stop thinking about what you should have said. Emotional fatigue. You feel drained, even if nothing bad is happening now. These are the alarms. Your soul is knocking. Hey, it's time to graduate. Puzzle piece. So how do you end a loop for good? You do 3 things. Magnifying glass tilted left 1. Identify the pattern. Ask yourself, what type of person or energy do I keep attracting? What feeling keeps repeating? What's the first memory I have of this dynamic? Broom 2. Interrupt the behavior. Do something radically different this time. Say no earlier. Set a boundary faster. Leave without explaining. Man in lotus position 3. Reclaim your energy. Every time you overthink, visualize your energy returning to your body. Say, this thought is not welcome. I release it. I reclaim my energy. Brain Scorpio, you are the strategist of the zodiac. You don't just feel deeply, you analyze deeply. Now is the time to turn your emotional intelligence into spiritual strategy. Close the loop not with drama, but with discernment. No need for revenge. No need for closure from others. Only one decision remains. Will I let this lesson graduate me? Or will I stay in summer school for another cycle? Milky Way karmic truth. The loop ends when you choose differently under pressure. It's easy to say we've healed when life is quiet, but healing is proven in the moment of the test. That's what this week is about, Scorpio. When the old pattern reappears, what will you choose? The loop or the leap? Direct hit next. Part 4. The Karma Reveal. When truth explodes into the light. In Part 4, we'll explore what happens when hidden truths come to the surface. How to handle other people's karma with wisdom, not fire. The difference between being involved and being responsible. Tornado Part 4. The Karma Reveal. When truth explodes into the light. Collision. Truth has a way of arriving uninvited. Scorpio, you've probably already sensed it. That subtle shift in energy. The tension building under the surface. The feeling that something is about to break open. And here's the truth. It's not just intuition. It's karmic timing. There are moments in the universe where lies unravel, secrets come to the surface, and people must face the results of the choices they thought they had buried. This week, you may find yourself at the center of a karmic storm, but not because you caused it, because you were chosen to witness it or to reveal it. Candle Scorpio, the illuminator of darkness. You weren't designed to be average. You weren't born to ignore shadows. You are the shadow that walks with the light, the sign that can look into the abyss and not blink. That's why, when karma comes knocking, it often uses Scorpio as the voice of truth. You don't go looking for drama, it finds you. Because the universe knows. Scorpio has the courage to say what others won't. Detective, a real story, when a secret couldn't stay buried. Let me tell you about Cassie, a Scorpio rising, quiet and observant. She worked in a corporate office where something always felt off. People whispered. Numbers didn't add up, but no one dared speak. One day, she discovered an internal report showing a department head had been misusing company funds. She didn't know what to do. She meditated for 3 days. Then she chose truth. Not vengeance, not exposure for glory, just truth. She handed the report to HR with calmness. No gossip, no accusations, just facts. The department head resigned 2 weeks later. Cassie told me, it wasn't my job to punish. It was my job to protect the integrity of the whole. That's Scorpio energy at its highest. Warning, but what if you're afraid to reveal the truth? Understandably so. Truth is heavy. It's uncomfortable. It breaks illusions, sometimes beautiful ones. But ask yourself, if I stay silent, what am I protecting? And at what cost? Silence may feel safe, but sometimes silence is a form of karma too. Because when we know the truth but bury it, we become part of the weight. This week, Scorpio, the universe is asking you to be the clarifier, not the judge, not the executioner. Simply the light. Woman in lotus position, discernment versus destruction. How to share truth wisely. Being a truth teller doesn't mean being brutal. You can speak honestly without harming. You can bring clarity without chaos. Here are 3 Scorpio-style principles of karmic truth sharing. Speak with timing. Just because you know doesn't mean now is the time to say it. Wait for the moment when truth brings healing, not harm. Speak with intention. Ask, am I sharing to release truth or to release anger? Speak with protection. Visualize yourself surrounded by light. Your words are not daggers, they are flashlights. Balance scale, but what if the karma isn't yours? You may be the witness, the messenger, the one holding the information others are afraid to see. It's a heavy role, but not a punishment. Because sometimes karma doesn't look like disaster. Sometimes it looks like a long overdue conversation, a truth shared in a whisper, a document brought forward, a boundary set with clarity. And the moment you do that, something shifts, karma completes, and you are freed from their story and from your own silence. Puzzle piece closing the loop, your role in the unraveling. This week, Scorpio, if truth comes knocking, don't run. Stand in your center, anchor in your power, and ask, how can I be a vessel of clarity, not chaos? Because karmic unraveling doesn't mean destruction, it means transformation. It means the truth finally finding air after suffocating in darkness. And when that happens, your own path becomes clearer than it's been in years. Glowing Star next, Part 5, the sacred flame of action. Scorpio's divine timing has arrived. In Part 5, we'll dive into why this week is the moment to act, the symbolism of 8 of Wands and Ace of Wands, how to take decisive, spiritual action without fear, and what that unlocks. Fire Part 5, the sacred flame of action. Scorpio's divine timing has arrived. Candle, there comes a moment when waiting becomes a cage. Scorpio, you've done the inner work. You've sat in silence. You've stared your shadows in the face. You've uncovered the truth and even spoken it. Now comes the part most people fear the most. Action, not reaction, not performance, but true, aligned, spiritual action. And here's the message from the universe this week. This is your window. This is divine timing. Act, not to escape your fear, but to fulfill your purpose. 8 of Wands. The time for movement is now. The 8 of Wands is here. And in the tarot, this card doesn't whisper. It roars. It's about speed, momentum, messages in motion, the universe removing obstacles. This isn't the time for planning. This is the time for leaping. Something, whether it's a relationship, a business idea, a truth, a project, has been waiting on you to move. And now the message is clear. If not now, when? Dove Ace of Wands. Your soul's spark has been reignited. Alongside the 8 of Wands comes the Ace of Wands. The spark, the ignition, the yes. This isn't random coincidence. This is what we call a karmic alignment. Scorpio, when these 2 cards appear together, it's the universe yelling, What are you waiting for? Not another sign, not someone's permission, not perfect clarity, because clarity comes through movement, not meditation alone. Firecracker, a true story, when one small action changed everything. Let me introduce you to May, a Scorpio moon with a quiet, artistic soul. She had been dreaming for years of launching an online store with her handmade jewelry. She studied endlessly, read books, took courses, but never launched. She told herself she was waiting for the right moment, but really, she was waiting to feel enough. One day, her close friend, a Pisces, looked at her and said, "What if the only thing missing from your success is movement?" That night, she posted one photo of her necklace on Instagram with the words, "I made this. DM me if you want it." She sold out in 3 days. Today, she's shipping her creations worldwide. She told me, "Success didn't arrive when I was ready. It arrived when I finally moved." Compass, divine timing versus human excuses. Here's what most people don't realize. Divine timing often doesn't feel convenient. It shows up in the middle of your mess. It taps your shoulder when you still feel scared. It whispers, "Go," while you're still building the map. But Scorpio, this is where your power shines. Because you are not afraid of intensity. You were born in the deep waters. And now, fire is calling you forward. This week is not a test. It's a gateway. And what you do now determines what opens next. Direct hit: how to know it's time to act. Ask yourself, have I been circling the same idea or decision for more than 2 weeks? Do I feel a growing pressure inside? Not panic, but a pulse? Have I received repeated signs from spirit, numbers, symbols, dreams? If you answered yes, move. Not recklessly, not blindly, but move intentionally. Send the email, book the session, launch the page, have the talk, submit the manuscript, make the offer. One step is enough to change the energy forever. Person in lotus position ritual. Light the flame of decision. Scorpio, try this ritual to anchor your movement and soul. Light a candle. Sit with the question, what decision am I avoiding? Ask for a single step you can take today. Write it down. Then do it before the candle burns out. You'll be amazed how energy unlocks when you show commitment. Puzzle piece: the difference between ego action and soul action. Not all action is sacred. Some is performance. Some is desperation. But soul action has 3 qualities. It feels clear, even if it's scary. It doesn't need validation, only alignment. It creates space, not tension. So check your center before acting. And then move like the storm you were born from. Locked with key: what unlocks when you move. White heavy check mark: new allies. White heavy check mark: unexpected support. White heavy check mark: hidden doors open. White heavy check mark: clarity arrives. White heavy check mark: karma resolves. Because movement tells the universe, I am ready. I trust. I am aligned. Sparkle's closing thought. Your life isn't waiting. Why are you? Scorpio, there is a fire building beneath your feet. It's not here to burn you. It's here to launch you. The waiting is over. The window is open. And the flame is in your hands. Will you fan it or fear it? Crystal ball next. Part 6. The karmic body. Health, energy, and the hidden weight you're carrying. In Part 6, we'll explore how Scorpio's body carries emotional karma. The health changes spirit is asking you to make. Why energy work may be more powerful now than physical treatment. Man in Lotus Position Part 6. The karmic body. Health, energy, and the hidden weight you're carrying. Brain: the body remembers what the mind ignores. Scorpio, you're a master at hiding pain. You can laugh while breaking inside. You can carry the weight of the world and still show up on time. You can function in chaos so well, most people don't even know you're in survival mode. But here's the truth. Your body knows. Your body keeps the score. Your body carries the karma you refuse to face. And now, it's asking for attention. Repeat button: when the energy isn't flowing, nothing flows. Have you been feeling exhausted without doing much? Foggy-minded or forgetful? Random body aches that come and go? A tightness in your chest or gut that can't be explained? That's not just stress. It's stagnation. It's emotional energy that was never cleared. It's karmic weight being held physically. And in Scorpio season, or Scorpio timing like this week, that pressure intensifies. Because the universe wants you to heal, not hold. The central column, your energetic spine. In Eastern wisdom, the body isn't just bones and blood, it's an energy system. Scorpio's weak spots are usually the gut, power, decision-making. The heart, grief, betrayal, suppressed emotion. The nervous system, hypervigilance, overthinking. When those systems are out of balance, we experience indigestion, fatigue, skin issues, heart palpitations, anxiety, sadness without cause, insomnia, obsessive thoughts, tension headaches. And here's the truth that changed my life. Sometimes the pain isn't from the body. It's from the soul's unfinished business. Open book, a real story. When a diagnosis led to a spiritual awakening. Marcus was a Scorpio sun and rising, a real force. Confident, healthy, fierce in business. But one year, he started experiencing intense stomach pain and heart flutters. Doctors ran every test. All came back normal. One night, he sat in meditation and asked, "What am I holding that's not mine?" Suddenly, memories of his father's unprocessed anger and his own silence during years of conflict came up like waves. He cried, not just tears, releases. 3 weeks later, the symptoms were gone. He told me, "My body was screaming for me to grieve what I never gave myself permission to feel." Woman in lotus position, spiritual maintenance is physical medicine. You don't need to choose between science and spirit. You need to integrate them. Here's what Scorpio needs most right now. 1. Stillness. Daily silence is not a luxury. It's medicine. 5 to 10 minutes of nothing. No scrolling. Just being. 2. Hydration plus grounding. Water holds energy. Scorpio is a water sign. Drink more, bathe with intention, or swim when possible. Ground your energy by walking barefoot or sitting under trees. Nature heals karma. 3. Release rituals. Burn letters. Cry in the shower. Scream into a pillow. Don't let emotion rot inside. Move it. 4. Energy work. Reiki. Breath work. Acupuncture. Sound healing. Even if you don't understand it, your body does. Light bulb the choice. Numb or nourish. You can keep ignoring the body. Numbing with caffeine, noise, sugar, or distraction. Or you can ask, what am I ready to feel so I can finally heal? Scorpio, you're not weak for needing rest. You're wise for listening before burnout becomes breakdown. Key: when you heal the body, the karma unlocks. Here's what happens when you prioritize your energetic and physical health. You sleep better. Your thoughts slow down. Inspiration returns. You attract better relationships. Old drama loses its pull. And the loop finally ends. Because the body was never the enemy. It was always the message. And this week, it's saying loud and clear, I've carried enough. Let me rest. Let me reset. Let me release. Glowing star next. Part 7. The Love Mirror. What you attract when you're ready to be seen. In Part 7, we'll explore the surprising ways Scorpio attracts karmic love, what real soul connection looks like, and how to tell if it's a test, why love can't enter until you finally forgive the past. Glowing star next. Part 7. The Love Mirror. What you attract when you're ready to be seen. In Part 7, we'll explore the surprising ways Scorpio attracts karmic love, what real soul connection looks like, and how to tell if it's a test, why love can't enter until you finally forgive the past. On Thay Fan 6 de Cham, Dung Chiu Sao Tom Lin, Kamsuk, Ba Tre Nia Manutoi Zem Dang Kin Kanye, Nu on Hai Lo, MSE TUC Viet Fan 7. The Love Mirror. What you attract when you're ready to be seen. Banda NOI. OKM. ChatGPT Do NOI. Tuet Voyon. MSE TUC Voy PHN 7. Revolving Hearts Part 7. The Love Mirror. What you attract when you're ready to be seen. Love is a mirror, not a rescue boat. Scorpio, let's tell the truth that no one else dares to say. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And love? Love is the most revealing mirror you will ever stand in front of. It shows you how much you've healed, how much you're still hiding, and how deeply you're willing to be seen and still stay open. So if you've been wondering why certain patterns keep repeating, it may be time to stop asking, why do they always? And start asking, why do I keep choosing them? Broken heart, the karmic lover. When the past comes wearing a new face. Scorpio is magnetically drawn to intensity. You crave connection that's deep, transformative, and all-consuming. But that very hunger can sometimes attract the karmic test. The person who feels like a twin flame, but brings more fire than peace. Says the right things, but avoids truth. Awakens your passion, but triggers your wounds. You may think, this is fate, But ask yourself, is this person healing me or making me chase healing through them? Because real love doesn't feel like obsession. It feels like home. Test 2, the tested heart. When you're tempted to repeat the old story. Scorpio's heart is tested when you've just done inner work. You've forgiven the past. You've finally started choosing peace. And suddenly, someone appears. They look new, but the story feels familiar. That's not a coincidence. That's the universe checking your progress. It's not about resisting love. It's about recognizing the pattern before it repeats. Ask, does this feel expansive or addictive? Do I feel calm around them or anxious? Can I be myself, or do I feel like I'm being tested every day? If the answers lean toward chaos, that's not love. That's a karmic echo. Light bulb, a real story. When she chose herself instead. Lena, a Scorpio sun and Venus, met a man who felt electric. The connection was instant. Powerful. They stayed up talking for 6 hours the first night. But 2 weeks in, red flags surfaced. Emotional hot and cold. Control disguised as caring. Passive comments that made her doubt her worth. Old Lena would have stayed. She would have tried to fix it. But this time, she took a deep breath and said, "This doesn't feel safe. I'm walking away with love for both of us." She told me later, "The moment I chose myself, it was like the universe sent me peace as a reward." And 4 months later, she met someone who matched her softness, not just her fire. Rose, the 2 kinds of love Scorpio must learn to distinguish. 1. Karmic attraction. Feels intense, grows fast, feeds off fantasy, ends in confusion or lessons. 2. Soul alignment. Feels calm, grows steadily, feeds off truth, builds a future. Scorpio, you've already graduated from chaos. Stop enrolling in courses that only teach you pain. Revolving hearts, are you ready for love to meet the real you? Here's the twist. The universe isn't withholding love from you. It's just waiting until the real you shows up, the version that has boundaries, knows what peace feels like, isn't afraid to say no, isn't chasing chemistry without compatibility. Because the version of you who used to settle is no longer the one love will find. Person in lotus position ritual, the love mirror exercise. Sit down. Write these 3 questions in your journal. 1. What version of myself have I been attracting love from? 2. What version of me do I want love to meet? 3. What do I need to release to become her/him/them? Then close your eyes, breathe deeply, and repeat. I no longer attract love from my wounds. I call in love from my worth. I am ready to be seen. Glowing star closing thought. True love begins where the lies end. Love isn't just about chemistry. It's about clarity. Scorpio, you are a magnet for souls. But now it's time to attract someone who sees all of you and doesn't flinch. That kind of love only arrives when you stop pretending and start revealing. Dizzy next. Part 8. The shadow within. Anger, sadness, and the spiritual detox you must face. In Part 8, we'll go deeper into why unprocessed emotions become energetic poison, the truth about Scorpio's sacred rage, and how releasing sadness opens the door to destiny. Drop of Blood Part 8. The shadow within. Anger, sadness, and the spiritual detox you must face. Whole shadows aren't evil. They're unhealed. Scorpio, of all 12 signs, you understand better than anyone. What we bury doesn't disappear. It just waits and rots in the dark. You are the guardian of the underworld, the soul who can walk through grief, rage, betrayal, and not just survive it, but transform through it. But here's the hidden danger. Even you, Scorpio, can forget that emotions are energy. And when they're unprocessed, they don't vanish. They turn into mood swings, energy crashes, anxiety, resentment, illness, spiritual blockages. Crossed swords, the duality of emotion. When rage becomes sadness. There's a quote I want you to remember. Sadness is anger without enthusiasm. Caroline MYSS. Scorpio, you've been angry, but you buried it so deeply, it turned cold. It became sadness, exhaustion, disconnection. Because anger requires energy. It fuels rebellion, boundaries, survival. But sadness, it often means you've given up the fight. You've collapsed into silence. You've mistaken your weariness for peace. But it's not peace, it's suppression. And that must end this week. Firecracker, a true story, when a breakdown became a breakthrough. Daniel, a Scorpio sun with Mars and Pisces, told me this. I wasn't allowed to be angry growing up. I was always the quiet one, the mature one. But inside, he was boiling. Years of betrayal, being overlooked, being used. He didn't lash out, he shut down. Until one day, a simple comment from a coworker, meant as a joke, made him explode. He cried in the bathroom for 40 minutes. Not because of what was said, but because he finally let himself feel. That night, he wrote a letter to himself. I'm sorry for silencing you for so long. That was the beginning of his healing. Scorpio, what have you silenced inside? Water wave your shadow isn't a monster, it's a message. Scorpio rules death, rebirth, and transformation. But true transformation doesn't happen by avoiding emotion. It happens by naming it, facing it, letting it move through you. You don't heal by being strong. You heal by being honest. And here's the paradox. Your greatest strength is your emotional depth, not your ability to hide it. Skull, what happens when you avoid your shadow? If you keep suppressing your pain, it will leak into your relationships, defensiveness, coldness, manipulation, block your creativity, numb your spiritual connection, drain your physical health. Shadow is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Person in lotus position, 3-step spiritual detox ritual for Scorpio emotional release. Create space. Dim the lights. Light a candle. Play soft music. Let the environment mirror stillness. Write it out. Start with, I'm angry because. Then, I'm sad because. Let yourself be raw. Don't censor. Burn plus breathe. Safely burn the paper. As it burns, breathe deeply and say, I release this from my body, from my mind, from my soul. I no longer carry what doesn't serve me. I let my shadow speak, and now I let it rest. Puzzle piece, sacred rage, the gateway to personal power. Did you know that rage can be holy? When Scorpio channels anger with intention, it becomes boundary, clarity, change, fire that burns away illusions. You are not too intense. You are too awake to pretend anymore. And that is your gift and your path. Milky Way final reflection. You can't out-manifest unprocessed pain. You can journal. You can visualize. You can say affirmations all day. But if there's pain buried inside your system, the energy won't flow clearly, and the manifestations will get tangled with fear. Scorpio, this week is your chance to reset, to cry, to rage, to release, and to rise lighter than you've been in years. Crystal Ball next. Part 9, The Path of Power, Scorpio's Legacy, Vision, and Spiritual Wealth. In Part 9, we'll explore how Scorpio is being asked to build legacy, not just success. Why this is the time to invest in your true gifts, and the vision you must follow, even if no one else sees it yet. Classical Building Part 9, The Path of Power, Scorpio's Legacy, Vision, and Spiritual Wealth. Snake Scorpio, you weren't born to chase money. You were born to build power. Let's stop playing small. Scorpio, you didn't come into this world to just survive. You didn't incarnate to collect paychecks and polite applause. You came to leave a legacy. And this week, the stars align to whisper. It's time to stop asking for permission. You are the architect now. Build what only you can build. Milky Way, what is legacy to a Scorpio? For other signs, legacy might be a career title, a family name, a bank account. But for Scorpio, legacy is spiritual. Legacy is emotional. Legacy is impact. You want to change lives, not just live one. That's why when your soul isn't aligned with your actions, you feel restless, empty, like your purpose is slipping through your fingers. Because you're not meant to fit in. You're meant to found something. Brick, the vision you carry isn't random, it's assigned. Scorpio, have you had a vision lately? A message, a download, a recurring dream that won't leave you alone? That isn't a fantasy, that's an assignment. You were chosen to carry something forward. Whether it's a book, a healing business, a generational financial shift, a truth others are too afraid to speak. Whatever it is, it keeps calling because you're the only one with the spiritual authority to answer it. Adult Artist Palette, a real story. The Scorpio who built a soul LED brand. Talia, a Scorpio with her Mars and Capricorn, worked corporate for years. She was successful, well paid, respected. But one night, she woke up at 2:22 a.m. for the 5th night in a row, with one sentence in her mind. Build what you wish existed when you were in pain. 2 months later, she left her job. 6 months after that, she launched a trauma-informed coaching brand. Today, She runs a 7-figure company helping women heal emotionally and financially on their own terms. She told me, "When I stopped building for someone else's dream, my own dream found me." Scorpio, what have you been called to build, but still holding back? Briefcase, your gift is your gold. Here's a truth most spiritual people are afraid to say. Money is spiritual. It's an amplifier, a tool, a mirror. And for Scorpio, money often arrives after emotional alignment. When you start speaking your truth, stop working from fear, stop undervaluing your energy, that's when your wealth flows. Because money follows power. And Scorpio is nothing if not powerful. Fire this week. The energy to take your vision seriously. You may be feeling called to write, launch, or create. Drawn to study astrology, healing, coaching, or tarot. Pushed to restructure your career, your brand, or your priorities. Don't ignore it. The 8 of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the King of Pentacles have all shown up. This is divine momentum. And if you don't act, it will circle back in less comfortable ways. Person in lotus position, 3 questions to align your legacy with your energy. What problem am I uniquely designed to solve? What truth do I carry that most people avoid? What would I do even if no one clapped, but I knew I was fulfilling my soul? These are the questions that lead to your empire. And make no mistake, Scorpio is here to build empires of meaning, not just influence. Prayer beads, ritual, the Vision Anchor practice. Light a candle, sit in silence. Ask your guides, what is the next step in building my spiritual legacy? Write down whatever comes, without filtering. Speak this aloud. I am no longer afraid of my power. I build with spirit, with purpose, with fire. I do not chase success. I become it. Dizzy closing thought. You are not too much. You are made for more. Scorpio, people may say you're intense, that you dream too big, that you're obsessed with doing it your way. Good. You were never meant to be average. You were meant to build what no one else could imagine. Because your soul remembers a blueprint this world has forgotten. Crystal Ball next, Part 10, the final unlocking, freedom, completion, and what comes after the storm. In the final part, we'll bring it all together. The final karmic release, what the world feels like when the loop truly ends, and what Scorpio becomes once the chains fall off. Dove Part 10, the final unlocking, freedom, completion, and what comes after the storm. Tornado, you've been through the fire, now walk through the door. Scorpio, let's pause. Take a deep breath. Look at what you've moved through in just this short journey. The karmic loop returning, the call to forgive yourself and others, the truth demanding to be spoken, the body asking to release old pain, the love mirror forcing you to choose wholeness, the shadows finally given a voice, the power within you begging to be used, the legacy no longer whispering, but roaring. And now comes the final unlocking. Because you are no longer the same Scorpio who started this story. Cyclone, the loop is ending, if you choose it. The patterns that once held you, they only have power if you feed them. They only stay if you invite them back in. But this week, the wheel has turned. The World card appears. 8 of Cups rises. Divine timing sings. The cycle is closing. And in the silence after the storm, you'll hear it. You are free, but only if you choose to walk away from what you've already outgrown. Old key, the door is open. Are you brave enough to leave the cage? Let's be real. Freedom can feel terrifying because we grow so attached to the struggle that we forget. We can have peace without earning it through pain. We can be loved without fighting for it. We can receive without overgiving. We can exist fully without apology. Scorpio, the final test isn't suffering. It's surrender. Can you trust that your time has come? Can you walk into the new without dragging the ashes of the old? Can you say, this is who I am now, and I don't need to explain it to anyone? That is the final unlocking. Woman in lotus position, a moment of closure. Try this ritual tonight. Light a white candle. Sit with your back straight. Close your eyes and visualize a large door in front of you. It glows with a light you've never seen before. In your heart, whisper, I bless the path behind me. I forgive all versions of me. I carry the lessons, not the wounds. I now walk through. Breathe deeply 3 times. Then open your eyes. And know, something has shifted. Rainbow, what comes after the storm. When Scorpio completes a karmic cycle, the universe responds with synchronicities, right people appearing, opportunities flowing easily, deep sleep and clarity, a sense of inner quiet you may not recognize at first. This is your soul's reward, not because you earned it, but because you finally released what was never yours to carry. Crystal ball, from here, your new chapter begins. So what now? You create, you connect, you love from a healed heart, you lead from embodied wisdom, you rest, not out of exhaustion, but alignment, and above all, you live, not as a wounded Scorpio, but as a risen one, as the phoenix, as the soul who kept walking when others sat in the ashes. Puzzle piece, the final word. This isn't an ending. It's your awakening. To every Scorpio watching this, I say, thank you for your courage, for your honesty, for the work you do in silence, in shadows, in spirit. The world may never know what it took for you to be who you are now, but the universe knows, and it blesses you for it. You are no longer bound. You are no longer repeating. You are no longer waiting. You are walking, free, whole, awake, and unstoppable. Candle, the final affirmation. Write this, speak this, live this. Asterisk, I am no longer afraid of my evolution. I have faced the shadow, and I have found the light. I do not repeat, I rise. I do not chase, I attract. I am not broken, I am born again. I am free, I am Scorpio. Asterisk, directed call to action, spoken from the heart. If this video stirred something in you, if you recognized yourself in these words, or you simply admire the unstoppable force of Scorpio energy, then let's keep going deeper together. Glowing Star, subscribe to this channel, The Path to Buddhist Wisdom, because here, we don't just talk about astrology. We awaken ancient truths. We merge mysticism with mastery, and we honor every soul's path to greatness. Hit that bell, leave a comment, and remember, the most powerful journey is the one within.